Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning. I hope you're getting ready for church. If you're not ready already, I I'm sorry. I've had some long programs the last few days. Today, it'll probably be a short program because I got up too late. I didn't even wake up until 7, and I've been running around trying to get ready, and it's really cold outside. But I'm not going to use any of those excuses. If I'd rather do a shorter program than no program because it's Sunday and the day has a way of taking you over, and you might get caught up in things. So it's either do the program now or do without. So we will do a shorter program. God bless you all. Uh, be sure and go to church this morning. It's where you need to be. Chapter 54 of the book of the prophet Isaiah. We began this the other day. I think we've got up through 5 verses so far. Chapter 54, Isaiah. Sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. Don't want the tent to fall down. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the cities to be inhabited. You're going to have so many people in the kingdom, you don't know what to do with them all. That's what God is saying. He's talking to a people that are one of the countries, Israel, the northern kingdom, had already been taken captive by Assyria. The southern kingdom was still standing, but threatened by Assyria. What most people don't understand is the populations and the prosperity of those kingdoms were vastly different. Judah was poorer and far less populated. Judah had an army of about 500,000 men. Israel had an army of 2 million men. There were 2 tribes that remained in the south, although over the years, as the kings in the north got worse and worse, Levites and other people stole toward the southern kingdom of Judah because that's where the temple was. But the population and the wealth were in the north. They were already taken into captivity. Strangers were living in Israel, the northern kingdom, after Samaria fell, their capital. And what Isaiah is telling them and to the remnant of Judah that would return from Babylon, it looks like there's not many people here now, but I'm going to bring people here. Well, that hadn't happened yet. Or we could say that it began with the Zionist movement in the 1800s and continued well throughout the 20th century and the establishment of Israel in 1948. And it is an ongoing thing, but the great regathering is going to happen after the Great Tribulation and in the kingdom of the Messiah here on this earth. So what Isaiah writes about, I tell you every day, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. That is the kingdom of which Isaiah writes. It's not a pie in the sky on another planet. It ain't in heaven. He's talking about the establishment of the Davidic kingdom here on the earth, where the son of David will reign with a rod of iron, and his throne shall last forever and ever. Even though there will be a new heaven and a new earth after the final judgment, that throne lasts forever and ever. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded. For thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth. We talked about this yesterday. I would love to forget the shame of my youth. But now and then I think about it, and I wish I could do it over. You can't. You can't unscramble eggs, as Billy Graham famously said. And what's done is done. But that doesn't mean you don't want to. I would love to go back and get a do-over on a lot of that. Think about the people I've hurt, harm I caused. I'd like to take it all back. We shall not remember the reproach of thy widowhood any more. For thy Maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth, shall he be called. The God of the whole earth shall he be called. Well, that brings us up to verse 6, where we are today. Remember, God is establishing the principle here of Israel. Pastor Haroon, God love you. God through Isaiah is establishing that Israel, all of Israel, the house of Israel, the house of Judah. Thank you, Pastor, and God bless you. I hope y'all are doing well in Pakistan today. God pictures Israel as a wife that has gone astray, that has played the whore with many lovers and abandoned her husband. And so God, her husband, had put her away, but he talks of a time when she's going to be completely restored. And that's part of what goes on here in chapter 54 of Isaiah, the restoration of Israel. Not to be confused with the church. The church is the bride of Christ. You can't compare a chaste virgin bride to a fallen but restored and loved wife who had gone astray and comes back to her husband. There's two different deals. But does it mean that he loves them any less or loves me more because I'm a sinner whom Christ saved and I'm a part of the church, the bride of Christ? Does he love me more than he loved his first wife, whom he set aside because of her adulteries and her fornications and her idolatries? He set her aside for three reasons, the same three reasons he destroys any nation in covenant with him. Now, before I say that, there is no covenant between the United States of America, the government, the corrupt, wicked government of the United States, and God. There never has been. This is not a Christian nation. It has never been a Christian nation. But it was founded as a Christian land. The covenant is between the pilgrims who landed at Plymouth Rock and asked God to bless the land and said if he did, that they would be true to him and make it a shining city on a hill. Well, the pilgrims died out. But that's the covenant that's broken, not the covenant of 1776. No, that is not a covenant with God. It's a covenant among men. The covenant was made at Plymouth Rock by the pilgrims between God and the people who landed there. The Christian people who landed there. Blood-bought, born-again believers. Every single one of them Christian. Exactly as we would define a Christian among the most conservative of us. That's where the covenant is made. We've broken that covenant. That's why God is judging our land. Period. There are no exceptions. Now, God always judges Israel, Judah. He judged them for the same reasons and in the same way. And that is how he is judging us now. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Julie. He is judging us now because we occupy the land for which the covenant was made between the pilgrims and the holy God. We're paying that price now. God always judges the same way, by destruction. We are under the judgment of destruction right now. Our leaders are a judgment from God on our country to punish and torture us. Good morning, Pastor Susie. God bless you. Except I'm sure it's nighttime there on the other side of the world. Those three reasons that he judges are always the same. They were true of Israel. They're true of Judah. And they're true of the United States of America. One, they went a whoring after other gods. And so have we. Two, they sacrificed their children. And so do we. Three, they believed the lies of false prophets. And so do we. So judgment has come upon us, and we will bear it. But no matter what happens here on earth, no matter how much wrath he pours down upon us in judgment, then you have to know that as a Christian, you are saved from the wrath of God. A lot of people say we'll never see any trouble because we'll be raptured. Well, the Christians have seen trouble since the beginning. But Jesus said, in this world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I've overcome the world. You're absolutely right. The great tribulation will not come upon us. We'll be in heaven. The rapture will come. But I contend that it could get far worse than any of us could imagine before the rapture. You need to be prepared to suffer for Christ. Be prepared to be arrested, tortured, and killed for Jesus. In the United States, yes, in the United States, because Satan has control of the government and has for many years. The God of this world controls this world. And so it won't just be the Jews who are going to be tortured. It'll be true Christians, not professing Christians, but possessing Christians. People who are actually born again, not someone who goes to a church or belongs to a cult or goes to Mass once a week. No. Can't get raised into it. You can't get born into it. You have to be born again. You have to become a new creation. They have to get used to the idea that we're going to be tortured and killed. And the rapture is still not come yet. Because we have been tortured and killed from the very beginning. The only reason that we haven't here in the United States is it's against the law. But very soon it won't be against the law, and they'll be hunting us down for a bounty, as if we were a gray wolf or mountain lion. I know it's hard for you to take and it's hard for you to believe, but that is the situation. I would not tell you a thing that isn't true. The God I serve and before whom I stand would not permit me to tell you a lie. So while our future, immediate future, is definitely unpalatable and awful, our long-term future is great. We'll be with Jesus, here or there or in the air. So, I said all that to say this. In the destruction of Israel and in the destruction of Judah, there was a divorce. God set aside his wife, Israel. But then he's talking about a future prosperity when he's going to restore her to her former place. A restored wife, a wife who repents and comes home. Just like Hosea went and bought Gomer out of the market where she had sold herself for bread and wine. And he takes her home and takes care of her and restores her to being his wife. That's what God is going to do with Israel. That's what he's doing right now. And the process is amazing right before our eyes. And God explains it through Isaiah, verse 6. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth when thou wast refused, saith the Lord. I took you when nobody else would, God says. Nobody wanted you, but I took you. Nobody loved you, but I loved you. Nobody would marry you, but I married you. It's what God's telling Israel here in verse 6. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken. In chapter 62 of Isaiah, we should be getting there in a few months. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken. So there's going to come a time in the kingdom when he establishes the kingdom. He's going to restore not only Israel, his people, he's going to, the apple of his eye, the chosen people, not only going to restore the remnant that he will protect during the Great Tribulation. He's not only going to restore them, he's going to glorify and beautify them. They're going to be restored to their position as wife. The divorce is going to be vacated. In chapter 62 of Isaiah, let's back up to the first verse. In verse 4 is where God says, thou shalt no more be called forsaken. That's not what you're going to be anymore. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake will I not rest, until the righteousness thereof go forth, its brightness, and the salvation thereof is a lamp that burneth. Everybody's going to see. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be bright and shiny. The whole world's going to know. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness. Everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to see that God loves Israel. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory. And thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. Boy, he likes giving us new names, doesn't he? He changed Simon's name to Peter. He changed Saul's name to Paul. Pretty cool. And thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. Verse 3 of chapter 62 of Isaiah, thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord. Israel. That hasn't happened yet. It doesn't look likely to the world that it would happen now. But because God said it would happen, it will happen. Whatever God says is what happens. It's always that way. There's not ever a time when it's not that way. Thou shalt be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of thy God. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land be any more termed desolate, but thou shalt be called Hephzibah, that means married. Well, it means delightful, and thy land Beulah, married, delightfully married, or a delight because you're married, or married because you're a delight. Any of those will work in the translation, but thou shalt be called Hephzibah, my delight, and thy land shall be called Beulah, married, for the Lord delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoiceth over the bride, so shall thy God rejoice over thee. The restored Israel, the restored wife. Verse 6, I've set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day or night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. You want to praise me, go ahead. And give him no rest till he establish, till he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. They prayed that prayer for ever since the destruction of Jerusalem, 70 A.D. Next year in Jerusalem, next year in Jerusalem. Well, a lot of them are in Jerusalem now. A praise in the earth. The Lord has sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength. Surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat to thine enemies. I'm not taking away from you anything else, God says. The sons of the stranger shall not drink thy wine. No, your wine will stay with you. It's your own, for the which thou hast labored. But they that have gathered it shall eat it and praise the Lord, and they that have brought it together shall drink in the courts of my holiness. Peace at last. Israel established at last. The divorced wife restored, the wife who had gone astray, forgiven, redeemed, not forsaken anymore, but beloved, married, delightful. Go through the gates and prepare you the way of the people. Cast up the highway, gather out the stones, lift up a standard for the people. Build, because you're staying here. Nobody's ever putting you out of here again. That hasn't happened yet, but it will. Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world, say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. Jesus' last words among his last words in the book of Revelation. Behold, I come quickly. In chapter 22 of Revelation. Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. And I will give each man according as his work shall be. Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord. And you, Jerusalem, you, Israel, shall be called sought out, a city not forsaken. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou wast refused, saith the Lord. Verse 7, for a small moment have I forsaken thee. For a small moment I have forsaken thee. In Psalm 30, for his anger endureth but a moment. Psalm 30, verse 5. For his anger endureth but for a moment, and his favor is life. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy cometh in the morning. Back in 26 of Isaiah, many weeks ago, verse 19, talking about the regathering in the future for Israel. Verse 19, chapter 26, thy dead men shall live, together with my dead body shall they arise. The crucified one arose, they will rise too. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in dust, for thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut the doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed, until this time passes over. Hide your face from it, because things are going to get better. For a small moment have I forsaken thee. On the cross, it was about 3 hours. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? For he made him to be sin for us, who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of God in him. Chapter 60 of Isaiah. And the sons of strangers, verse 10, shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy upon thee. All of those people that held you in bondage, you're going to rule over them. In 2 Corinthians, chapter 4. I lost my place. Chapter 54 here. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. He's promising them an eternal city, an eternal marriage, an eternal restoration forever. The disgraced wife, the set-aside wife, the divorced woman is going to be restored to her husband. And she will share his glory, and he will spread his glory upon her. Oh, it's going to be marvelous. This kingdom that God promised David, the land that God promised Abraham. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies I will gather thee. No, we'll have to continue this tomorrow. I have to get the car heated up. We need to get on the road. I think it was 9 degrees when I got up. I don't think it's improved much yet. But it's sunny. We'll feel the cold on our face. We'll feel the sun on our faces as we freeze to death. Now, I don't expect to freeze today. The Lord God will help me. Go to church. I'll see you tomorrow.